And 40.
Okay, so in the middle of the sugya of shtika k'haida of shtika, right? That'd be good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines in the bottom. 9 lines in the bottom. Samechayim the days. Amar Abaya. Amar loy eid echad achal chelev. And eid echad says that what? That you ate chelev, and then you chayiv to being a carbon. The chelev b'meised you chayiv karis. So in Mela, if you do it b'shogeg, you be chayiv a katas. But halosh shoisak, and he's quiet, and he's quiet. So, is that does he have to be a carbon or not? Now, shtika koida means that. So I'm agreeing with you. What if you would say any adeya? The Tanatuna, Amaloi Eid Echad Achalta Chelev Haloi Maloi Achalti Aidin Pata. Time Amaloi. The reason why what he's pata from being in the carbon because he negatively said incorrect. Ha'ishtik mehimnin. Okay, so that's a bias din Eid Echad. Now, it's a Taisus over here. Second Taisus in the top. Amaloi Eid Echad Achalta Chelev Haloi Shaisik Neman. Pirish. The Shtika Kihayda Dami. Avinoidala me atzmai. And therefore he's going to say, takami. Aval amala any yedeya, if he says I don't know, ain't nem on the chayv carbon. In other words, the chsiv, because it says he has to make no loishay do acher, and not other people go ahead and tell him. Pirish. There's 3 madregas, guys. There is shtika, there is no, and then there's the middle ground. I don't know. So the Gemara addressed 2 of them. The Gemara addressed if the guy said you ate chelev and he says I didn't, you pata. If the guy said you ate chelev and you're quiet, shtika kahida, and you chayiv chatas. If you'd say any idea, I don't know, then you wouldn't be, because shtika kahida means that you reminded me, right? And I'm being minded that I did. But if you would tell me, and I don't know if I did any idea, that's not enough. To being a carbon, you have to be aware that you did the aveira. For someone saying that you did the aveira, that would not be mechayiv carbon. It has to be sure you do that. You know you did the aveira. We had what? No. I should tell you only certain cases. A suffix whether, but this case over here is not a suffix over here. The guy says vadai. The guy saying vadai, great, right? Okay, so the Taisus just points out that the middle madrega in Yedea, it's a pradin chatas, guys. It's a pradin chatas that you have to know. Okay, so that's one din shtika kaida. Achilas chelav. Another din shtika dav. Amaloy echad nitmu tyrosech. Your tyrus is tamei. V'alosh shaisik. Nemon. So it's nemon to say that it's tamei, and won't be able to if it's tyrus, if it's truma, you won't be able to claim, won't be able to eat it. If you're makbatit tyrus like kodesh, you won't be able to eat it. If it's tanatuna, araya. He says it like Macy, it wasn't like nitmai spata. Time of damaloi, same raya, but it became quiet. So the same scenario, just a different venue, right? First one is speaking about achilas chelev. The second one speaking about tuma. Third one and final one, Bamar Abaya, Amaloi Eid Echad, Sharcha Nirva. You sure had an act of znus done to it, or it did an act of znus. So now, that's if you only have one aid, you can't kill the shar. Kemisas abal kach misas ashar. That a shar on niskel gets killed is only when there's 2 aidim. But one aid is not going to kill the shar. What will it do? It'll make the shar, you could eat the shar, but it'll render it possible for a carbon. You won't be able to use the shar for a carbon. A shar and nirva you can't use for a carbon. Good. So now he says your shar is nirva, and it's possible to bring as a carbon. It's asa. V'ala shaisik neman he be believed the tanatuna. Okay. Tana also brings the raya. What's the raya? It says that these are the ones that you can't bring as a carbon. Ushenev the ba'avera ushehemis al pi eirechad al pi bailam. If an animal had an avera done to it, or killed through its master, or through eirechad, or through its master. Now, alpi abal neman. Hi alpi eirechad hechidami. What's this alpi eirechad? Either kamoida right bailim. If the bal is moida that he killed, hainu alpi bailim. We have 2 separate cases, guys, over here. We have alpi eirechad and we have alpi bailim. So if it's speaking that the eirechad went ahead and said Yeshar killed, and he says I'm moida he did kill, that's the case of alpi bailim, right? He does baldin kmeyedim dami. So Ella must be Lav Shasik. The case must be where the Eid Echad said Yashar killed. If it's Shasik and remain silent. Okay, so therefore you have a raya that Shtika Kahida, and therefore what you would be. And there, don't worry, man, I'm going to mute you, Mayor. So, okay. He's snorting on me. Okay, anyway. So we have three cases, right? We have a case of Chalev, case of Tuma, and a case of Shar. Why do you have to tell me the same thing? Where the Eid Echad says it and you admit it. What's the Kiddush of each one, right? What's the Kiddush one? So it says nowhere but Tzricha. You got to tell me each one. Ti Ashmin and Rabbi would have just told me the first case, what, by Chalev. I would say, she loved the Kimle ben Afshi David, if not that was sure that he ate. The guy said, yeah, he goes, Taka, then Chum Bazor Lavimaisi. In other words, he to bring a carbon, and it's not carbon, it's chulin, it's a severe avera, right? So it must be when he shtika kaidah in that case, because he's not going to admit it because his admission, his shtika that's equivalent to admission is consequently making him to bring a carbon. And if he wasn't chayiv to bring that carbon, he's bringing chulin, correct? So Memela, I'd say over there his shtika is kehaidah, because you know for sure that he wants to bring, he's not going to bring chulin azara. Aval, but nitmu tayrasech, but where his nitmu became tame, meima aminan, you could possibly say, hi the shasik, the saba chazi let me make tamase. What's the big deal? In other words, so when I'm tame, I'll eat it. So you know what? It's not that I'm admitting that I did it, but lema freely. In other words, shtika kaidah means I am admitting to what you said the Eid Echad. So just because I could say that if you said it's tamei, I said no, my shtika is not necessarily kaidah. It's okay, so I won't be able to eat it for a little while, but it's not going to cause me a tremendous loss. So therefore, I remain silent. That's possibly what you could say. V'yashmin and baha, the case of nitmu where his parents became tamei, mishum de kamasilei they made tarasai because he's losing out when he's tar. Aval shor nirva where it's going to be puzzle as the carbon. It's a big deal. In other words, I could still eat it. I could still put it in a barbecue, so I can't bring it as a carbon. So tzricha to tell me that no, that shtika kaidah, even in that case. So he's telling me all three venues. Geshmak. Iboilahu. Ishtoi zinsa. This is going to be from the rest of the daf, guys. Iboilahu. Ishtoi zinsa be'eid echad v'shaisek. He says, your wife was mizana. Your wife was mizana. Be'eid echad. Your wife was mizana be'eid echad, and he remains silent. So the shaila is, Mahu, what's the din? What's the din? Is shtika kaidah, and he's not able to live with her anymore? We know if a man from the Masechta Saita that if a man's wife is mizana, he can't live with her anymore. Do we say over here that shtika would be kaidah, and therefore Mahu? Amar Abaya, Neman. Says Abaya consistently. Neman, you believe that what? Now you would not be able to live with your wife if you're shaisik. And Rav Amar, Rav is of the opinion, Einoi Neman. Rav is of the opinion that what? He's not believed. Why? What do you want the
Baal to say? The aide comes over and says something about his wife. What do you want to say? He doesn't know. What is it?
He says, you're saying she was Mizana. I'm saying she wasn't.
The husband saying.
The husband says, what?
He said, I saw.
Again, he was shoisik. He was quiet.
He doesn't believe, or he
again, the question is, can an erechad asa? What shtika could it asa?
But the shtika kaidah, what's kaidah? He
How-
doesn't know.
What do you mean?
He went out to the Hanan business.
May-
He comes back from town,
Okay.
and the aide comes over and says, "I know she was mizana." So shtika kaidah is what?
But again, so
He doesn't believe.
so you're saying that, so you're agreeing with Rava, ain't an Eman. You're agreeing with you're agreeing with Rava. So again, it would l'chayra, it would have to be in a hechet timsa. It would have to be a hechet timsa that is shtika could be haida. In other words, what he says any other day, I don't know. Your case, he went out of town. Your wife was mizana. I don't know. That's not halacha. In other words, you chose to be shaisik. You had something to say. I can't believe you. I can't believe you. I don't know. You didn't have to be shaisik. The three madregas, those I spoke at three madregas. It's not either or.
In other words, you say nothing. Machrish the aide. You don't have to tell the aide.
No, Eid Echad Chosh is nothing. if again, the shtika kaidah, no, here's the question. When you're shoisik, what power does it give the aid? We have an aid echad has limited power, right? We had a bunch of cases over here. Aid echad by chayla, we had an echad by tyrus, we had an echad by shor. Good. Your shtika did something to go ahead, what, and make that aid believable, and no one argued on that. Over here, Rav is arguing. You know, what transpires over here with your shtika? What happens over here? Okay. So now, in answer to your question is simply he didn't have to be shasak. He could have said, "I don't believe you. I don't know." He didn't say that. Mashma by shtika that he is agreeing to what he's saying. You understand? You ask him. You understand? Guys, you understand? Dov is asking a very good question. Shtika means that you should open your mouth. By being quiet, you're saying that, you know what? There's a reglayim ledava to what you're saying. There must be a piece of truth over here. Okay, so there's a big lumdus over here, guys. A big lumdus over here. So let's see Tosfos right away. Rava Amar, Rava says that what? Rava says that Einay Neman. V'im Taimar. Even the Shasak, since he was quiet, Ushtika Kaida Damya, Lama Le Tesser love, why shouldn't she be usher on him? Could he not go ahead and make her a chaticha di surah? Right? In other words, when you were shasak, after the eight said a wife was mizana, right? And you were shasak, according to Abaya, you know how it works? Oh, here's the aid. You should have said, I don't believe you. You should have said, Eini Yadeya. You are now say you're being quiet. You've just supported what he said. So based upon what he said, you made a wife a piece of issa to you by saying she was mizana. Freg Tosfos a bomb kasha on Rava, like you, Rava. So how could Einay Neman? Why were you shasak? So why can't your shtika, when you should have said something you didn't, go ahead and equate that okay, that's his kasha. And listen to his teretz, guys. Yesh Leimar, the Kasava Rava, the time of the shasak mehimnim, lav mishlam the shtika kai damya. The reason you believe is not because shtika kai da, el mishlam the ikar reglayim ledava mehimnalei. In other words, you know how it works. The eid echad is that since there's eid echad and you were quiet, so there's a reglayim ledava. He must be telling the truth. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence. The kivan she'ein ha'issa mikoyach edis habal, ella mikoyach edis ha'eid loy mehimnalei. The eid echad ein nema b'dava shebe erva. Rava holds the following. Rava holds shtika kaidah gives substance mitam reglayim ledava. But that would only be in a matter of a davar that what? Where an eid echad could help. Eid echad be surim. So where the eid said you ate chaylev. Is that Isser? Isser v'heter, right? So did Rava argue? Rava didn't argue. Rava might argue in Lamdis. According to Abaya, Shavya Nafshe Chaticha the Surah that no, it's not Shavya Nafshe over here. It's a reglayim ledavar that you went ahead and you ate chaylev. Good. Now, the aid is only one aid. An aid echad is believed in that scenario. Paris, Issa, believed. Asa the Shar, believed. Why? Because there's a reglayim ledavar and an aid is believed in that scenario. So aid echad says one thing. You're quiet. Your shtika is a reglayim ledavar that you know that it happened. Awesome. What does your shtika do over here? What does your shtika do over here? Can it make the aid more than he is? It's an aid echad. When it comes to a wife, that's a davar sheva erva. In davar sheva pachas mishnai. That you need to aid. Your shtika can't create two aids. Your shtika can create a scenario where one aid would be believed, but your shtika can't create two aidim. And since you need two aidim, therefore what? Therefore you're not believed. So that's what the Gemara, that makes a lot of sense.
Even if he said
So,
believe it would be the same thing.
Right.
It wouldn't add to that.
it wouldn't make a difference. Again, he could make us on himself. If he'd say,
Okay.
the guy says, I'm asking that my wife did it, I'm saying,
Out to himself, but not out to the aid.
not else the aid.
The Reglayim Medavar is the shtika. That's what we're
Yeah,
saying?
that's what I'm is the shtika, right? So now says the Gemara. Let's see the Gemara now. Beautiful. The Tosfos is such an aligning Tosfos. The one that's the terrace. I'm Rabbi Neman, Rabbi in Neman. Why? Havi davar sheba erva. Vein davar sheba pachas mishnayim. In other words, the bottom line is your shtika can't create the aid more than he is, and his aid echad. It's a davar sheba erva. No, it could be. I could be masking. He's telling the truth. I'm quiet. I'm shasik. I'm shasik. You said. Someone said a wife did znus and you shasak. In the area, in other words, the same scenario. It could be you believe him. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah.
No, but I don't understand. I understand. I don't understand how the answer is answering this kasha.
Because you thought that your shtika works. Al shavya nafshek tichadi surah. So I was quiet, and therefore, based on the eid echad, she should be asa. Right? That's not the way it works. It works because since you didn't say anything, right? Then it substantiates the edus. And since over here you are, I'm substantiating the edus. However, but it's in other words, in the half meaning you thought it works out. Oh, you admit it. So you made she's us on you. No, okay, good. Back. What Shabbat Nafshe? You don't understand the Abaya. You don't understand the Abaya? Why? Abaya whole works but he also was Shavya Nafshe. In other words, it's not a din of Nadis, it's a din of Shavya Nafshe. So since it's not a din of Nadis, maybe right. It's not Daf Yomi Gemara, but I couldn't let the Taisus go by because it gives you an insight into how the mechanics of it work. Very good shmak. I'm Rabbi. I mean a lot. Okay, now it's very interesting because we're going to bring in a Agarata. Don't get lost in the Agarata. At the end of the Agarata, it's going to be a kasha. It's going to be a riot, a buy. Okay, a little history. What? Yeah, I mean, I got I got it to right here. Little giggle. I got it right over there. Anyways, what the Jets do this week? Anyways, weiter. Just thinking about weiter. What? Be quiet. At least something to be happy about, right? Right? You got to watch it. Anyway. Yeah, I know. Again, I always the Yadi Molina, him and Coco. Never forget that. Never forgive it. I'm Rabbi. I mean a lot. 2006, but who's camping? I'm Rabbi. I mean a lot. Who's Samya? It was this blind person. Davi Masada Masnaisa Kamed Demar Shmuel. He was, you know what? Remember, he had the Bryces called this person. He was Masada the Bryces before he memorized them as Masada them. Yumachad Nagalei. One day he was late. Well, Havi Kasi, he didn't come. Saw the Shlichi Abasrei. So he sent a shliach to find this blind guy. Adi Azal Shliach Bechada Orcha. Ask you Bechada. The shliach went one direction, he went the other direction. He said, by the way, I came to your house and your wife was Mizana. So if you believe, right, it goes Zil Afka. My love, if you believe that the guy is not a Gazlan, meaning if you believe that this guy is a kosher aid, so this is a bias saying that what you see, an echad is believed by to say your wife is Mizana. In other words, if you believe the guy is a trustworthy guy, the shliach that I sent, and he's not a Gazlan, that he's a kosher aid, then a kosher aid could make you asa. So Rava says that's not pshat. Rava says, if you believe him like two, then zil afka, v'iloi loy safka. Right? And if v'iloi loy safka, if you believe him like two, then you can divorce her. If not, not. Okay. So Rashi says, afka hoya v'loy echishasai. Since what? You didn't go ahead and be makashim. Since you didn't go ahead and deny. And how do I know that Eidach is believed? The Tanya. Ma'isa b'Yanei HaMelech. Now Yanei was a Chashmonai king. So not only was a king, he was a kohen. Right? He was the kohen. Yanei was a kohen. We had a Gemara guys in Brachas of Test. Right? Yanei who Yochanan Kohen Gadol. Who Yanei is a two-state. Ma'achlekas Abai V'Rava. Yanei, right? Says Gemara. Shahalach the Kechalis Sheba Midbar. He went to Kechalis in the Midbar. The Kive Sham Shisha Krachim, and he was Matzliach. He captured 60 cities. When he came back, he Sameach Simcha Gedoyla. The Karl Chol Chachma Yisrael Lama Lahem Avoseinu Haya Oichlim Meluchim Bisman Shahaya Oiskim Bebinyan Beis Mikdash. They were eating salted vegetables. They were very poor. When they built the Bayasheni, they were very poor as Bayasheni. And you know what? They were eating salted vegetables. So even though this is our time of Simcha, we go ahead, we conquered all these cities. So instead of eating steak and French fries, let's go ahead and we'll eat some salted vegetables as a zeicha to our forefathers. The Helu Maluchim al Shulchanos, and they went ahead, Shalzav, they took out nice tables, and they had salted vegetables on a nice table. Let's Levra Ublial. This guy was a Russia Marusha. He's described as a Letz, a Levra Ublial. Blial means Blial Malchus Shemayim. The Elazar ben Puir Shmoy, and unfortunately he's made his name in the Gemara. The Yomer Elazar ben Puir Liyanei Melech. Yanei Melech. Libam shel Prushim Alecha. The Prushim, the ones who keep the Torah Shebechsav, they're out to get you. Remember the turbulent times they had in the second bias, Prushim, Tzedukim, there was a lot of flaring up. So they're against you. So it goes, Uma Esa, what should I do to prove it? In other words, you're telling me they're against me. What says Yanai to Elazar ben Puir to prove that they're against me? So he told him, Hekim lohem b'tzitz shebeinei nechem. Go ahead in front of them, or go ahead. The tzitz, the gold tablet on the head of the Kohen Gadol, and he was the Kohen Gadol. Go ahead, take it out and put it on your head. So Hekim lohem tzitz shebeinei nov. Hayisham zakinecha Yehuda ben Gedalia shmoi. V'yom Yehuda ben Gedalia liyanei hamelech. Yanei hamelech. Rav lecha kesem malchus. Hanach kesakun l'zar shel Aaron. What are you taking everything? Why are you usurping everything? So now l'chayre he was a kohen. So what? So leave it to Zerah Shalaron. L'chayre you are from the Zerah Shalaron. Your mother was captured in the place Modiim. The Yevukesh Hadavar, they checked into the matter. Nimsa, and they didn't find it to be true. So they were this person Yehuda ben Gedalia said on Yanai that he was apostle. He said his mother was what apostle. She was a chalol and couldn't marry a kohen, and therefore he was apostle. You're the king, but leave it. And they checked into it, and they didn't find anything to substantiate the claim. That they left, the people left angrily. And Hedjib Yisrael, this is his din. The Atar Melech for Kohen Gadol, Kachu Dincha. In other words, they malshin you. They spoke disparagingly about you. They questioned your lineage, and it was false. So Yanai says to Elazar ben Puir, "My yes, so much should I do?" So he said to him, "You know what?" Ram says, "Kill them." Ram said, "Kill them." The Torah Mate Allah said Yanai to Elazar, "What's going to be with the Torah?" So he said, "Don't worry, Harry Kruchel Menachas B'Karin Sabias. Here it is. It's bound up. It's in the corner. Color writes a little more Yav Eveliyav, and anyone wants to come learn can come learn it." Amrav Nachma Yitzchak Miyad Nizruka Bayapi courses on Yanai. The fact that Havi Leila should have told him 1 second. Henach Torah Shebechsav Torah Shebechsav Miyamai. What's going to happen? Anyway, Miyad v'toitzei tzara Eliezer Puria. It spread out the raw and v'yargu kol chachmei Yisrael, and they killed all chachmei Yisrael. V'haya olam mishtoimim. And the world, Yanai killed out all the chachmei Yisrael except one. He didn't kill out Shimon ben Shetach because Yanai's wife was Shimon ben Shetach's sister, and she hit him, right? Now that's the Agadata. Good. That's the Agadata. So I want to go back and do something else. Get back to the Agadata, but let's get to the Raya. But this is going to be a Raya. The Raya is Abaya's din that what the Neidechad is believed. Good. Now, Hechidami. Ilema debate Trey Army Ishtaboy. If you're going to say two people say she was captured, Rubei Trey Army Lo Yishtaboy, and two people said she wasn't captured. My chos is the Samti Ahani. Why are you Slimach on the one that says she wasn't captured? Slimach Ahani, be Slimach on the one that said she was captured. And therefore, what? What do you mean? The Gemara said, "V'yivokish adav v'lei nimsa." Ken Zaina was nimsa. Ken Zaina was nimsa. No, if it's 2 versus 2, why do you say loy nimsa that it was true? Maybe it was true. Good. Ella must be beid echad. Two people said she was what? She was not captured, and one person said she was. The time with the Kamach to the betray. And the reason we don't believe that one person to say she was captured and Mizana is because there were 2 opposite. Halav hachi without 2 opposite. Mehimna, you would be believed. So l'chayra, that's the raya. Can you imagine? You mean you can figure this out yourself? Huh? Classic, right? You hear, guys? The reason why we're saying the following: the reason why like Nimsa that she was a Mizana because she was captured and Pasal Kahuna is because it was 1 versus 2. But if it was 1 alone and no one was Makish, then what? Then we would believe him. That's Bayas Raya, you'll believe. Matter what does Rabbi do with the Raya of Rabbi? La'olam trey betray. What's 2 and 2? Why'd you opt to say that what? That you believe the ones that not captured? In other words, the second ones that said she wasn't captured, the second ones that said that she was captured, they turned out to be Edi Azama. So two people come say she wasn't captured. Two people come say she was captured. The one that says she was captured, they made the azama. What's the chiddush of Eidim Zayimim, guys? Why do you believe the ones who say Manu Yisem? That's the Kiddush of Eidim Zayimim. Guys, in Eidis, Hakchasha, if one goes ahead and cancels out the other one, they cancel each other out. By Eidim Zayimim, we believe what? We believe this peer that comes saying Manu Yisem. So over here, so the one that said that she was captured, they got rid of them. However, it's not speaking about Eid Echad, and therefore you don't have any raya. That's all. You have no raya. Another way, Ibay Seima, Shidam Rabbi Yitzchak, Shifra, don't turn yet. Shifna Hichnisai Tachteha. A Shifra, they what they did was the following. Shitaka was captured. Two people said she was captured, but it wasn't to be at Eid Echad. And what they did was they barred it. They took a Shifra, and they said, "Here, you take the shifra instead of this woman." And they stole Yanai's mother, and therefore she was never underneath the jurisdiction of the goyim to say that they were ma'anasa. So either way, but however, there's no Eid Echad here. There's no raya. Okay, just a side point. How could Yanai just put on the tzitz? How could Yanai just put on the tzitz? I mean, go put on the tzitz. He keeps halacha. Wait, you just go put on the tzitz. Go put on the big day melucha. Okay, so let's see. So Rashi says Rashi, very, very, very nice, that we had early in the Masechta, and Daf Nun Dalid. Guys, remember we said when the Kohen would finish working, he didn't have to take off his clothing right away because it wasn't given to Malachei Ashares, right? So therefore we see that he said that the big day kahuna was given what to you can have enough of it. So in other words, you won't be moil behegdish. You won't be moil behegdish. Okay, that's Rashi. Let's see Taisvis. The second Taisvis in the bottom. Hakim lem v'tzit shebein einecha pirish b'kuntris afagav delav shasa avodahi. Even though it's not the time of avodos, how in the world can it be wearing what? The tzitz. Amin el the big day kahuna nidl lahanas behen. The kasha dadarabba mashmei hasam the miyad shayu yoichin of shitan shayu zukukin of shitan. As soon as they could take them off, they should take them off. In other words, stop aside to use it, you can't use it. What it means is, even though at B'shas Malacha, you're walking back to your apartment in the Azara, wherever the base might get, so you could wear it. You don't have to go ahead and go start Kodim Achet. Right? You don't have to do that. So Frek Taisa and Rashi, you can't just stop aside to use it, you can't. So listen to this Chiddush Nifla, guys. The dafka tzitz, mishum dechsiv bei v'hoya al mitzchay tamid. It says that tzitz should be on Aaron's metzach, on his forehead all the time. Mashma de muta shaloi b'shas avoida. It's mashma that what? It's muta not in the time of avoida. Al b'shar begodim loy yani hoya koyim mizera beis chashmenoi. So in other words, there's a special waiver of at the tzitz by mitzchay tamid. The tzitz was mechaper on the dam. They messed up the carbon to make it so. Therefore, but it only works when it's on his mesach tamid. So it makes sense that Aaron would wear it all the time, because in case in the base of Mikdash there was a mess up, it would go ahead and fix it. So it's a very geschmack right? So it's not a kasha, because it's not lafka the big day kahun. It's lafka that sits now mitzchay tamid. The keyword being tamid. Therefore, what it would permit it. Okay. What did Rava say? That Eid Echad says you mezana not believe. For Omar Rava says Rava on the base. Omar Rava mino amin Allah. How do I know? Did none. Omar Rab Shimon Maisa b'megura shel diskim. Megura is a mikvah. There was a Maisa with a mikvah in the place of, it's the name of a person or the name of a place. Diskim. What the Avna? Excuse me. No, you don't want to go there. That's not so good. Not so bad. Not so bad. No. They're much worse. This mikvah was muchzik that it was 40 sa. No, this is a chazaka that the mikvah was a good mikvah. Umadadai, they measured it. The nimseis chasera, and they found it was in the vernacular a quart short. It was wide. It wasn't a mikvah. Called Tyrish shenasu al gaba by Reb Tarfin metaher. In other words, Reb Tarfin's of the opinion will say that it only became chasra now, and any tyrus that had been gone ahead and immersed in the mikvah before this time would be permitted. Rabbi Akiva says it's tamei. Rabbi Akiva says it's tamei. Anything was put in would be tamei. Amr of Tarfin mikvah zeh becheska shalem who I made, right? This mikvah is the chazaka shalem. Misafik at the bol chasra. In other words, using the din of chazaka, you measure this mikvah. Is it good? Good. Are we masking it as kasha mikvah? Now you find it's chasa. Why would you take it if it's chazaka for all time? There was a period of time you know for sure that why it worked. So let's be masking as chazaka and say right now it became chasa. So Amr Rabbi Kiva, Adam Zeh becheskas tamehu. The person who went in the mikvah, he also had a chazaka. He had a chazaka of Ate B'Tameh. The Suffolk at the boiler Taro, you want to go ahead and do what? And be Matar him? Al Titaven Misafik. So again, so like Rev Tarfin going after the mikvah, the chazaka of the mikvah, like Rabbi Kiva, forget the mikvah, what about the person? Right? What about the person, the chazaka of Tameh? Amr Reb Tarfin, Mashal Lo'oimed Umakva Gam Mizbeach, a kohen who's standing, and he's being makva on the Mizbeach. Labrias. V'noidashu ben Gerushim and Chalutza. And it comes out that you find out that he was the product of a union of a Gerusha or a Chalutza. Shabaydasa Kesheri, despite the fact that he's a Chalal, guys, despite the fact that he's a Chalal, is Avaydis Kasha. You hear this? If you find out a guy was a Chalal, the guy works for 10 years. He did a lot of Avayd in 10 years. Good? And now you find out 1 second, Mommy says, I have on a deathbed, she has to tell him the truth, that she was a Gerusha. Guess what? All the Avayd that he did is Kasha. So the mikvah also. So that's his mashal, the mikvah also. Amr Bekiva, mashal oimidu makriv al gabi hamizbeach, v'noida, and becomes known, shu balmum, shavadasa b'sula. Right? Amr Tarfin, ata de misula balmum, v'ani de misula ben gerusha ben chalutza, near limi daima. Let's see who's correct. So i daima ben gerusha ben chalutza, nidon ben gerusha ben chalutza, i daima balmum, nidon balmum. Very wordy. Listen what Rabbi Akiva said. Mikvah psuloi biyachid. If a Eid Echad says it's possible the mikvah, is he believed? Absolutely. Ubalmum psula biyachid. And if a person would testify as a balmum, also be believed. Vayachiach ben gerush ben chalutzai, since that's an Indian of erva, shepsula b'shnayim. In other words, you want to go ahead and compare mikvah to a kayin, it's much more comparable to a balmum, where an Eid Echad would be believed, just like a mikvah, versus a ben gerush ben chalutza. You need 2 Eidim to go ahead and say you're a ben gerush ben chalutza. Right? First mission in Marcus, right? Ne'idim anu. That why you need anu too. Davar acher, mikvah psuloi begufai. Mikvah itself is puzzle it's a tangible psul by itself. Balmum psula begufai, and balmum is tangible in himself. And don't go ahead and prove it. Ben gerush ben chalutza shepsula me'achem. Where's the psul of ben gerush ben chalutza? Mach was the mother, right? She was a gerusha. So it's the grama of it. Good, he's puzzle, but it's caused by somebody else. Mashenkin balmum himself is the psul. The mikveh itself is the psul. So there's 2 ways you should compare what a kohen to a mikveh, a kohen balmum to a mikveh, rather than either because the Eid Echad is believed by both a balmum and a mikveh, or mikveh and balmum are both in the object himself versus the ben gerusha, which is caused by the mud. Amler of Tarfin, Akiva, call a parish from Chol Parish Menachai. Right? Anyone's parish you personally. Now, right now, you have a nice little Gemara. Rabbi Akiva is great. Rabbi Tarfin Mitzvah is great. What's the purpose of this Gemara? To prove Rabbi that Eid Echad what? Eid Echad is not believed. So now Rabbi begins to talk. So, Hi Balmum Shepsula B'Yochad Echidami. This Balmum that you said is psul by 1 aid. What's it talking about? Either Kamachashlei. If he denies, he's not believed. Ella must be the shasik. It must be just quiet. But the Gavasi Gabi Ben Gerushim Ben Chalutza, the shasik. So it must be right. Ben Gerushim Ben Chalutza, you're quiet. Now, Ben Gerushim Ben Chalutza is, guys, which of this is similar to your wife being Mizana? Only Ben Gerushim Ben Chalutza. That's the only Davar Shabbat. And nonetheless, why do we say you need 2? Right? The Ketani Mikvah Psula B'Yachid, Balmum Psula B'Yachid, Vayachiach Ben Gerush Ben Chalutza Shepusla B'Shnayim. You need 2. So the you see that what Davar Shabbat you need 2, and therefore Rava stands. Rabbi Amar, what about Abaya? Loilam de Kamachish Le. You're talking me Machish. Then why you believe one over the other? Comment on my mehimna. Damalei Shliach Achve Shalach Achve. Okay. Behind the Diktani, Mikvah Pasal Begufay, Balmum Pasul Begufay. Vayachiach Ben Gerush Ben Chalutza Shepusla Me'achera. In other words, you know why you believed over here? What's the guy saying? You're a Balmum. He says, I'm not. He goes, you got that right over here. Hey, go, right? I hope you. You understand. Okay, so Geshmak. Gishmak. Okay, so now along the way we found out two dinim, guys. Why do we find out? If a ben gerusha ben chalutza does the avodah, it's kasha. If a balmum does it, it's pasul. Okay. U ben gerush ben chalutza the avodah ksher min alon. Amar Rav Yehuda Mashmuel damakra. What does the pasuk say by Pinchas? V'haisa loy ulazari achrov, right? And it'll be for him and his zeri afterwards, right? Bein zera kasha u bein zera pasul. So therefore, it teaches me that what the zera achrov, whether it's zera kasha, zera pasul, the avodah will be good. Okay. That's where Shmuel learns from. Avu the Shmuel Amar Mehacha. Baruch Hashem Cheloi Upol Yodov Tirtze. HaKadosh Baruch Hu blesses his Cheloi, his army. Upol Yodov Tirtze. Afilu Cheloi, Afilu Chulin Sheba. Even the what? Even the Chulin, the Chalalim Tirtze. Their kabbalah should be accepted. Rav Yani Amar Mehacha Ubasal Akayin Shia B'Yom Mehem. Chisala Daitchish Adam Chelach Eitzel Kayin Shlei B'Yomim. You're going to go to a kohen who wasn't in your days? Elazeh kosher nischalel balmum davidas psula. Okay, zeh kosher nischalel at the time of the avodah. Balmum davidah psula b'shoygeg minalan. I'm Rabbi Yehuda Mishmuel damakra l'cheinam ani by Pinchas. His name is nicely esprisi shalom kushu shalom like shu chaser. So it's the lashon shalom when he's complete, not a balmum. It says more about shalom ksiv. It says with a full vav. It says no, it doesn't say a full vav. I'm Rav Nachman vav the shalom katia. It's a katia. Okay, it's a little cut off, and since there we can read it as shalim. Now I put down a beautiful Meshech Chachma over here. Why is the a remes this pasuk? Why is Pinchas the one to show that a ben gerusha ben chalutza it would be good? So I did it. Put it. It's on the screen, guys. I sent it to you. You can look it up. Listen, as always, with Meir Simcha is just special. Says the Meshech Chachma. Ubi Kidushin daf samich vav on the days, Agamara, uben gerushim en chalutza davaydasa kashera min alei. Where do you know it from? So he brings this pasuk, and Pinchas and his children afterwards. Bein zera kasha, bein zera pasal. Doesn't make a difference who the zera afterwards, whether it's zera kasha or kain, or it's zera pasal, ben gerush ben chalutza, it's avodas kshera. Hapirish. The bnei Moshe, why nisrachnu min hakahuna? Neishabanav hayu bnei bas Yisrael. He quotes an Ibn Ezra, fellas, that the reason why Moshe wasn't a kain, his children weren't a kahanim, because his wife was tzipora. So his yichus wasn't a good yichus. Mashain Kain Aaron's yichus was impeccable, right? He's Yocheved and Amram, he's impeccable and very good. Well, Chaim bnei Aaron shahayu muchasim bekahuna, shahayu bnei bas Nachshain, who was his right? He was impeccable, and his wife, I think his name was Elisheva. She was the sister of Nachshain. So she was, so meaning she was the daughter of Aminadav. So impeccable yichus. However, Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKayin, who did Elazar marry? Bas Putiel. Who is Putiel? Yisro. So Peter, he was Mfatet to Avodah Zarah. So Mela, Pinchas could not be a Kayin. You know why? Because he felt the same way Moshe felt. Moshe felt what? Moshe's yichus is his children came from Yisro. Pinchas also came from Yisro because his father married Yisro's daughter as well. So Mamela, he couldn't be a Kohen right away. Got it? Now, L'chein gam chuloi niskayin at shehoreg Zimri. Once he killed Zimri, then he became what? He became. L'chein Amar Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohen. Why miyachsim to the father? Why? Because L'chein Amar hineni noisin loy as brisi shalom to beat the basar of Ivazal. We go after his father. Shu miyuchis. Who's miyuchis? Umasha Amar b'nos Patiel ze einay pasal b'kunasai. And that you said, I should have been this hill. What do you see? Well, he said, Lo Yulazar Achrav, the Ged Hazeh, Afa Pisha Imam Tia Gerusha Oichel Ben Chalutza, Einachi Sarin Shemailas Imai Goyremisle, Lachal Avedasai. You see from Pinchas himself, guys, that the mother didn't stop him from being a Kayin, and the Avodah being Kasha. Menela by the Chal, the Kayin was the daughter of a Ben Gerusha, the Kayin is the son of a Ben Gerusha Ben Chalutza. We see that the Pagam of the mother can't be enough to stop. Fascinating, Mr. Chachma. Be aware, I saw a Zoya. This Zoya is unbelievable. You know why Pinchas wasn't made a Kohen right away? Right? Because Hashem saw he was going to kill Zimri. A Kohen that kills B'shoy cannot do the Avodah. So he Dafka waited, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu waited till afterwards, because he wasn't a Kohen when he killed him, and then afterwards he could do the Avodah. Very good, very good. Okay, let's say something. Hillel.